to Ger and Jim. There is the group table. Iran sitting top of the table, Portugal and Spain with one apiece. Next it's Portugal, Morocco and Spain, Iran on Wednesday. Ronaldo did double his World Cup goals tally. He's now got 6 after the 51st hat-trick of his career. Liam, where do you start talking about a game like that?
Well, it was the most marvellous game, Dara. Spain had to come back twice. They went behind just at half-time and you worried for them, but they were absolutely magnificent in the second half. The football they played was sublime, magic. They got a goal from a set-piece, which they showed themselves to be very adept at. And then Nacho redeemed himself for the penalty he gave away in the first half with a most marvellous strike. And the way they controlled the game after that, you thought that was it. But when this guy's in the team, in the opposition team, and you get a free kick with 2 minutes to go, and you see the concentration on his face, you just had a feeling that he was going to get the hat-trick, didn't you? He's the most marvellous player. What a game of football, you know. Pity it wasn't the final.
Yeah, well, it might be. You never know later on. Keith, all the stuff about the Spanish kind of the mentality, and it was tested at half-time and De Gea and all that stuff, but, you know, just what a match.
What's a match? I think they asked the questions, they've come back, they showed the character, the performance in the second half went up a notch, better than the first half. Some of the football we were watching in the second half was Spain at their brilliant best. At times, Portugal were punch-drunk, they really were. But I said right at the start, I fancied Spain if they were on it, and they were nearly on it. But this Portugal team have something about them. Whatever he has instilled in them, the belief, the character, and obviously Ronaldo in that type of form. A sensational second half in particular.
So, Richie, is that the debate or the worry about, you know, a divided Spanish team? Is that all done now? Forget it.
That debate's going to run for the whole tournament. Everything they do, but I think what they showed tonight, the rights and wrongs of the decision and the behaviour and the impact, we'll all be trying to work out that for the rest of the tournament. But what Spain showed tonight was what we always knew. They can play a level of football that few, if any, other countries can reach. There was a spell, I think 10 minutes before the end, and I was sitting there just looking back. This is a local rival, huge occasion. All the hassle of the last few days, they were 3-2 up. How many sides would just, you know, keep it tight, just clear the ball, just to focus on defence? They were just bullying Portugal just with the ball, just teasing, probing away, all wanted the ball. Every player in every position, didn't matter how congested the space were, how many men were close to them. It was the highest standard of football you can see. It was superb. And I'm really pleased that we haven't seen, we may see it later on in the tournament, but signs that the Spain squad have been over-impacted by the manager leaving, and we don't get to see that kind of football. I was delighted that we got to see what we knew Spain were capable of producing.
OK, let's look at all the action in the second half. And look, we'll go back to the first half as well, but there's so much to enjoy here. And we'll start, Richie, with the equalising goal. Diego Costa, 10 minutes into the second half.
Yeah, again, you think of Spain's strengths. It's all the intricate passing, the movement, making the most of tighter spaces. But here again, an unlikely source of their second goal. Koke and Silva over the ball, back stick, free kick. Really well headed by Busquets, and then Costa does what every player in his position do. He's just in the right position, expecting the ball, hoping the ball to fall where it did, and finishes the goal. So we knew at that point, OK, right, we have a hell of a game in our hands.
And that feeling continued, what, 3 minutes later? Nacho making up for the error in the first half, and what a brilliant goal this was.
You are not going to see a sweeter strike, such a pure strike of a football. He backs up play really well. Let's not forget he's playing right back. He's on the far side in a narrow position, not high, wide, around the periphery of play. Again, it's that intricate play that we've spoke time and time again ago. They hunt, they get it back. It's a little bit of fortune here as it comes out, but he backs it up well. And what a strike that was. And talk about redemption. This is the best angle. The whip, the curl, cuts across it. Patricio, no chance in the Portuguese sticks. And they deserved it at time. They were well on top, dominant. And I'd already mentioned, at times, Portugal were punch-drunk. They didn't know how to deal with this type of play. But they clearly needed that extra goal.
What a strike it was. And then you go very near
The
to.
way out for Portugal, Dara, then was Ronaldo, wasn't it? They had somehow, you just knew that if they gave him a chance or got him the ball, that he was going to was going to deliver.
He won the free kick as well with the foul by Piqué.
Piqué would be saying to himself, did I really need to? He had plenty of Spanish players. Look, you have loads of Spanish players in and around the ball. Did he really need to do that? And then you go, OK, I've given a free kick away, but it's Ronaldo. And you just tell from the concentration on his face. Like they put Busquets and Piqué on the end of the wall, the two tallest players in the Spanish team, to try and stop that ball from getting round it, but he still did it. And it's right in the top corner. De Gea, no chance whatsoever. And what a finish to the match. And, you know, he is just a phenomenon. I said it when Piqué gave the free kick away. I said he's going to score this.
There was three shouts, to be fair. One was wall, one was crowd, and the other was goal. The other one said goal in.
Yeah, but you can just tell from the concentration. He loves the limelight. He loves to be in that position. Give me the ball. I'm going to stick this in the net.
Because other people, you know, and why he can be divisive at times. You know, the faces he pulls, the kind of. He annoys people, Keith, at times. Some people, that they see him looking at the screen all the time. But just that sense of drama, that moment that he is able to seize against their greatest rivals.
That's what he created. I would fall into that camp. He would annoy me at times, very much so. We've seen an instant in the second half when maybe 3-2 down and he's wanting the yellow card. And I think that's what makes people, if they are divided, if they're on the fence between him and Messi, that's what sways you towards Lionel Messi. But he craves opportunities, situations just like that. He lives for it. That is what the dedication goes into 24 hours a day, because he is a specimen of an athlete, and his dedication every single year of his professional career has got him to these moments.
Match, and Iran sit proudly at the top of it for now. Well, in St. Petersburg, it's all about the ecstasy and the agony, delight for Queiroz and for Iran. It's only their second victory at a World Cup finals. Remember, they're appearing at their first ever back-to-back finals. Their first victory, a very famous one, a hugely significant one, as they beat the United States of America by 2-1 in France '98. But they left it late. They only actually scored one goal at the last World Cup, but they have a victory here now in Russia. Richie, did they deserve it?
You can see why they only scored one in the last World Cup. We spoke before the game that their approach is defence-minded. So much of the build-up to this World Cup, we promoted our coverages. You know, we're going to be watching really memorable moments and things we'll be talking about for years. That was forgettable. That was awful for the majority of that second half in particular. Did they deserve it? It depends. I mean, every team plays to their strengths. If they go out and play swashbuckling, you know, open, expansive football, Iran will get beaten. So they played to their strengths. They tried to keep it tight at the back. I thought maybe the chances they created in the first half and didn't take would come back and haunt them, because they're not a team that creates many chances. The chance that they got, it were gifted an unnecessary free kick. Amrabat shouldn't have tripped over, got us in the corner in the way that he did. And of course, one of the opponents put it in their own goal. So, long-winded answer, did they deserve it? No, it was awful stuff. It was cynical play from Iran for a lot of it. Liam clocked it. They were time wasting, I think, from the 10th or 12th minute, just delaying restarting the game at every opportunity. But Morocco, in the chances and semi-chances they created, they didn't take them, so they'd be gutted.
Yeah, Liam, I'm tempted to say, you know, look, they won't care one bit in Tehran and other places like that.
Oh, World Cup, you know, they got off to that start. Actually, I did say at half-time that Queiroz would have been the happier manager. Morocco had run out of ideas. They'd resorted to long balls, diagonal balls that were going out of play. They were trying to force it, and they didn't show any real quality to trouble a sturdy, stubborn, you know, strong defence and a decent goalkeeper in Benabad in the Iran goal. But it was a dreadful game of football, and we don't want to see too many of them. And the fact it was won by a non-goal, I think, is appropriate, because neither team looked good enough to score. There was fouls galore, yellow cards, time wasting, lack of quality, lack of composure from both sides. But having said that, as you say, in Tehran, they'll be jumping up and down because they're a small nation coming into this match. I didn't give them much of a chance, but they were stubborn, and they were physical. They got their bodies in the way. They were spirited. So you have to say they deserved it because they were up against it. They were the inferior side, and Morocco never showed up, apart from the first 10 minutes of the match.
Richie, I'm struggling here a bit because yesterday I said that I heard somebody talk about Russia as the worst ever Russian team in living memory. Today I said I heard somebody else talk about Morocco as an underrated team, a team that could, you know, surprise a few people in this competition. Do they look like a team that are going to surprise anybody?
Morocco?
Yeah.
They were frustrating to watch because, like, we did a lot of work before the game to see what they were capable of. So we knew what some of the players have been doing domestically with their clubs, or in Europe rather, with their clubs. So they had the potential there to play a better standard of football, to have more quality, particularly in areas going forward. Ziyech in particular, we gave him the big build-up beforehand. I think he disappointed a little bit. Kabi, centre forward up front, he didn't really make much of an impact at all. So they disappointed. I mean, you can assume